Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are privileges that people are born with and that cannot be taken away. Many people work to defend the basic principles that form the foundation of a republican form of government, including Cesar Chavez. Cesar Estrada Chavez was a Mexican-American labor union organizer and civil rights activist. He was born on a farm near Yuma, Arizona on March 31, 1927, into a family of 6 children. His family owned a grocery store and their ranch, but during the Great Depression, they lost their land and had no choice but to join their fellow Mexican-American farm workers, fleeing to the green valleys of California to look for work. Cesar and his family were now migrant workers. They worked on other people's farms, crisscrossing California, picking whatever fruits and vegetables were in season. Cesar dropped out of school after 8th grade to work full-time in the fields. Working so hard on other people's land for so little money seemed unfair to Cesar, like some form of slavery. Landowners treated their workers terribly. They provided no clean drinking water, rest breaks, or bathroom breaks. Anyone who complained was severely punished or even killed. It was time for a change. In his 20s, Cesar crisscrossed California, trying to talk people into joining his fight. Cesar was a firm believer in nonviolence, saying that the truest act of courage, the strongest act of manliness, is to sacrifice ourselves for others in a totally nonviolent struggle for justice. People started to listen, and in 1962, Chavez and co-founder Dolores Huerta established the National Farm Workers Association. This was the birth of what would become known as La Causa, or the Cause. The group fought for the rights of migrant farm workers, improved working conditions, and higher pay. Chavez organized strikes and nationwide boycotts of agricultural products in order to help workers. Workers that hunched over grapevines for most of the year were paid very little, and in 1965 their pay was cut even further. Cesar and thousands of workers in California went on strike and did not pick the ripe grapes. In many instances, Cesar's supporters were injured or even killed, but Cesar refused to respond with violence or give up on the cause. He organized what would later be known as the longest protest march in U.S. history. 300 miles from Delano, California to the state capitol steps in Sacramento to draw national attention to the plight of farm workers and ask for the government's help. The march was unbelievably successful. Officials from the grape company agreed to recognize the authority of the National Farm Workers Association and promised a pay raise, better working conditions, and health insurance. Before this contract, workers had no way to protect themselves. The grape strike lasted 5 years and was the first successful agricultural strike in U.S. history. Chavez would continue to win many more fights on behalf of farm workers, including the banning of the short-handed hoe, the cause of permanent back damage to thousands of farmers. He participated in a number of hunger strikes that promoted nonviolence, including the one that would lead to his death in 1993. Cesar died in his sleep at the age of 66 and left behind 8 children, 31 grandchildren, and a story that would be remembered forever. Today, Cesar Chavez continues to be seen as a hero for his dedication to nonviolence, his utter persistence, and his self-sacrifice in the face of overwhelming odds. Cesar Chavez succeeded in working his whole life towards achieving life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all migrant farm workers.